G'day you mob, Pete here, and this is another episode of Aussie English, the number one place for anyone and everyone wanting to learn Australian English. So today I have a Goss episode for you where I sit down with my old man, my father, Ian Smisson, and we talk about the week's news, whether locally down under here in Australia or non-locally overseas in other parts of the world. Okay, and we sometimes also talk about whatever comes to mind, right? If we can think of something interesting to share with you guys related to us or Australia, we also talk about that in the Goss. So these episodes are specifically designed to try and give you content about many different topics where we're obviously speaking in English and there are multiple people having a natural and spontaneous conversation in English. So it is particularly good to improve your listening skills. In order to complement that though, I really recommend that you join the podcast membership or the academy membership at aussieenglish.com.au, where you will get access to the full transcripts of these episodes, the PDFs, the downloads, and you can also use the online PDF reader to read and listen at the same time. Okay, so if you really, really want to improve your listening skills fast, get the transcript, listen and read at the same time, keep practicing, and that is the quickest way to level up your English. Anyway, I've been rabbiting on a bit. I've been talking a bit. Let's just get into this episode, guys. Smack the bird, and let's get into it. Dad.
Pete.
You jumped the gun. You already opened the can.
I know. I missed my cue.
He's impatient, guys. He's thirsty. Don't worry, it's Coke today. It's still early morning.
Yeah, it's too early in the morning for beers. It's not.
We've changed locations. You guys will probably hear slightly different reverb.
Yes, it's a bit echoey in here with the cathedral ceiling.
Yes. So I thought we could do an episode on what are some things that what is it here? Like, what's something uniquely Aussie that you think foreigners will never understand? Before I go through the comments, I guess I'll read out the post. This was one on Reddit, in the subreddit Australian. So the person writes, I was chatting with a mate from overseas the other day who couldn't wrap his head around the concept of magpies being a genuine public safety threat. Got me thinking there are so many little things that make Australia, Australia. Could be cultural, food-related, slang, or just weird daily stuff we don't even question anymore. So I'm curious what's something you reckon only Aussies get, and everyone else just looks confused when you try to explain it.
A
lot of these things, it's hard because, sorry to interrupt you, a lot of these things, you're not really going to think of them because they're just
if you don't think of them, what do we take for granted? Well, taking for granted means I'm not going to think of it. But
exactly.
Yeah, off the top of my head, and this is probably not the rest of the world, I think English and Irish would probably, and Scottish, so British people, although the Irish would feel insulted by that.
Well, the Northern Irish wouldn't.
Yeah, no, exactly. Have a similar sense of humour, but Australian sense of humour is very self-deprecating and ironically or sarcastically insulting.
To themselves or to others?
Both.
Or both,
But that self-deprecating sense of humour, a lot of certainly North Americans and Europeans just don't understand.
Well, it's not just them. It's funny you mention that. I have private lessons with some Asian students at the moment, particularly, all of them in terms of this aspect, but Chinese people I've been talking to recently, some Chinese women, and they were like, How do I have small talk at work and be a bit more informal and friendly? And part of the advice that I gave them was quite often just make fun of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like she was saying, like, I get nervous when I talk on the phone with colleagues or, when I talk around the office because I've got an accent or I say the wrong thing. And I'm like, just make fun of yourself for doing it. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be serious, and we know you're joking. But if you say something like, "Oh, I'm just a dumb foreigner," if you use that self-deprecating humor to kind of break the ice.
And Australians not only get it but appreciate it because it's just sort of an underlying the way we interact.
Well, and that makes it a friendlier thing, right? Like it's as an Australian, as soon as you hang out with someone and they use that kind of self-deprecation or they they make fun of themselves. They point something out that's obvious but unsaid.
Yeah.
I'm some fat old bloke or something like that you might say to someone. All of a sudden, it becomes relaxed because you're
Yes.
kind of like, oh, this person's not taking themselves too seriously. I can talk more openly. I can be silly. I can be myself. If I make a mistake or do something that would otherwise be embarrassing in a very formal situation, this person's not going to be taking it seriously, and I can make fun of myself, and it's a friendly kind of environment.
Yeah, and I think the flip side of that is because of that self-deprecation, we also don't get insulted by what other people would look at and go, "Oh, geez, why would you say that?" I mean, how many times in your life, and this will be in the thousands, have you heard somebody say, "You idiot," to someone when they do something silly
or say something?
Yeah, and now a lot of other cultures would just sort of, "Oh, I can't," that was a bit stupid, but I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Whereas the first thing an Australian would turn around and just go, "You idiot."
Or worse, good job, dickhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done, well done, numb nuts.
Numb nuts. Yeah. Hey, knucklehead, what do you think you're doing? Yeah,
Butterfingers. What's the other one? Taxi.
Yeah. Well,
that's a classic.
That came from a TV commercial years ago.
It? Well, I just imagine it's an American thing that we've gotten, but it's a taxi's used for like
being
when
clumsy.
Someone's clumsy and drops something or does something. Usually as well especially when they're drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
The idea, I guess, being that you're out with friends and they gotten so drunk that you need to call a taxi so they can go home.
Yeah, they can't drive.
And so you're making the joke that if someone, like if you got up now and suddenly dropped
spilled
your
the
iPad,
drink or dropped the iPad, it'd be
I'd be like,
taxi.
Taxi?
Yeah.
So,
But there, that was reinforced. Well, the humour was pre-existing because the ad wouldn't have made sense otherwise. But it was reinforced with this commercial about drink driving years and years ago.
Yeah, okay.
About this guy sitting in a pub and he turns to a girl and says, "Let me drive you home, show you perfect control." And he then stands up and knocks his drink over. And the whole line was, "Get a taxi."
Yeah. No, but that is such a good one, I think. And learning that, especially with a lot of my students from overseas, it's one of those things I take for granted and just do and make, quite often. And I'll use it when I'm asking them questions about their culture or their language or whatever. I'll be like, "I'm a dumb Westerner. What do I know?"
Yeah.
And I'd rather hear it from you or whatever. But my initial, I'll notice when I'm thinking about these things, my initial first thing is to insult myself in front of you.
Yes.
So that you feel comfortable.
Yep.
And relax. And that's, they may not even feel that way as foreigners because they're not culturally programmed to.
Exactly.
But other Australians would in that situation.
Yeah, I remember when I taught at the Curry Institute, at Deakin University.
Do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, Curry's the sort of broad grouping of Aboriginal people in southeastern Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And the institute was set up at Deakin University, where I was already working, to establish higher education programs for Aboriginal people.
Yep.
Because often people who are living in community don't have the opportunity of a typical sort of university program where you're attending university every day or 3 or 4 days a week. And so they would do intensive programs. So you would come and you do an entire subject in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be there for 8 hours a day for 3 weeks and finish a subject. And I remember in the first or second class talking to people and talking to the students and just said, "Hey, I'm just a dumb white guy," and they all laughed. And it just lowered the tension.
Yeah.
In that, who are you? This old white man coming in and teaching us. But I said, "Hey, I'm just a dumb white guy. I need to understand your situation."
Yeah, you sort of recognise that difference and mention it and address it. They're kind of like, "Oh, yeah,
all right,
okay.
we can treat you like the dumb white guy now, and you're not gonna be offended."
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It is funny. It is funny how important that is, and I think too, it's related to our Australian dislike of pomposity or people pretending to be more important than they really are, or that those certain people who want to make everything way more formal than it should be.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I remember I had a student from Pakistan, a young kid, and he kept calling me sir, and I was like, "Dude, you got to stop. Like, I'm just some dumb Aussie dude teaching English online. Like, you don't have to call me sir, mate. I haven't been knighted. I'm just your average bloke." And he's like, It took him ages
Yeah,
to get
but
out of that habit.
that's just part of that culture, and it's the same in the southern part of the United States.
Oh, no.
Is that this sir and ma'am, and particularly to people who are older than you, not necessarily as a respect of authority or whatever, but anybody who is older, and to be a few years older. It's not like a generation older.
Do you think that a big part of that, though, is gun culture and like the fact that everyone is so well armed in the US that you need to be polite?
No, I don't think so. I think it's one of those things that's just, the culture is beaten into people metaphorically. And I've known people who call their father sir.
It's so funny though, because for me it seems so superficial and like, what would you say, ingenuine when people use that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just not disingenuous, right? It's just
Yes.
it feels like you don't actually consider me above you as a sir, like as madam, as sir,
and they don't.
whatever. Yeah,
But
they use
it's
it
not
anyway. It's like,
disingenuous because it's just built in.
yeah.
It's like, how often do you say g'day?
Oh well, pretty
All the
frequently,
time. Yeah. And it's just that your automatic response.
Yeah.
So it's that how you address someone.
It is so funny though, that big difference. Like I would immediately feel uncomfortable if I think I went to America and people kept calling me sir everywhere.
Yeah.
I think I would have a common habit of just being like, don't call me that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I'm not American, please.
Yeah. Well,
just treat me like
an old friend of mine who used to, when McDonald's first came in Australia and they brought in that American service model and mentality of, and would you like fries with that and have a nice day. And every time they addressed him at the end of have a nice day, he'd say, don't tell me what to do. And all these Australian kids would just laugh. But if you said that to an American, they go, what? They'd feel like, what have I done wrong?
What is that movie again? Is it like there's an army movie with Mel Gibson in it. I think it must be from the early 2000s. And there's like a lieutenant or captain or general or something who's constantly walking past these young recruits.
No, it's the sergeant.
Is it? And they keep saying to him, good morning,
Sergeant
sir.
Major.
And he's like, who are you, the fucking
Weatherman? Yeah, exactly. Don't call me sir. Yeah. I work for a living. Yeah.
All right. So some of the ones they have
so I was going to give you another one.
Oh, okay.
And that is our, we sort of actively ignore, but not passively, venomous snakes and spiders. A lot of people from overseas, when they come to Australia, are paranoid about them.
Yeah.
And you go, you could spend your entire life in Australia and never see a venomous snake.
Many people do.
I know. If you wanted to find, you want to find one, even from here, I could probably find one in an hour.
Yeah.
But you've got to go out of your way. But at the same time, we just have built into our behaviour that you just don't do certain things.
Yeah.
You don't walk in long grass in summer.
Or if you go in, you have
gaiters on,
to protect your legs, right?
You don't wander around the paths.
You don't put your hands where you can't see them when you go to the rock pools around here in the ocean because there's blue-ring octopus,
which are venomous. So
exactly, and you won't even know you've been bitten until you stop breathing.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those things, right, that are inbuilt. I know, and the same with the spiders. I saw a meme or reel going around on Instagram that was like. Some woman sitting in her house and there's a huge spider on the wall and she turns and she's like, oh, Steve, how's it going, buddy? Taking care of the flies, And it's that kind of like, it's funny. And then another one that was showing some electrician had opened up someone's, what is it called? The thing on the side of the house with the fuse.
Oh, yeah, the fuse box.
The fuse box. And there was like a redback spider in there that was tiny and a massive huntsman. And he was like, foreigners will never understand why Australians do not give a shit about that huge, freaky-looking spider, and in fact, sort of see it lovingly because it's like, awesome,
g'day, mate. Yeah.
And are terrified of the tiny little black spider because it's deadly to humans.
Exactly.
So it is interesting, that awareness of native animals and things that don't freak us out and others that do.
Yeah. Whereas used to go to North America a lot. Haven't been for about 10 years, but. Walking in, go bushwalking in Australia, and I have no problem anywhere because you just know how to avoid snakes is the big thing. Whereas you're walking through the forests in Canada,
oh fuck,
and you go and say, cougars,
bears,
moose. Exactly.
Yeah.
What am I going to come across now?
I just never understand how Americans can be shit scared of tiny spiders in Australia and venomous snakes, and yet have this nonchalant camping thing in the US with fucking bears.
I know, and that's the gag I always used to use. Say, yeah, our things will bite you, your things will eat you.
And chase you down, actively hunt you. The snakes will bite you if you step on them.
Exactly.
And they can't escape. And even half the time then, they're not going to inject venom.
No.
So you've got to really go out of your way. Whereas the bears are like, if you come too close, they're hungry and it's,
and if it's a sow with babies.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I remember when we went to the US, right, and we were driving around, or it may have been Canada near Banff, and people getting out of the car to see black bears crossing the road, and you're like, lock the doors. Yeah. What do you do? And they had cubs. You would just be like, are you guys cooked?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Maniacs.
These things, not only are they potentially going to eat you, but they're going to kill you because you're a danger to their cubs.
Yeah.
Like,
and I remember
afar.
one spot we were there, and I was out of the car, but close to it, and photographing the bear cubs that were like 100 metres away.
Yeah.
And one of the rangers drove past, and he just said, "Look, you look like you know what you're doing and you're okay, but you being out of your car encourages everybody else to do the same thing. Yeah. So can you please get back in your car?"
Thing I feel like I remember from when we went to the US, there were always Japanese tourists that seemingly got way too close to the bears. Yeah. And I don't know if it's like in Japan they have bears, but maybe they're less dangerous, but it seemed like they were always somewhat like, oh, we'll just walk straight up and it'll be fine with our cameras. And I remember just being like a little kid, just thinking,
you're going to die.
Yeah. I'm not getting out of the car.
Exactly.
Like, good grief. Yeah. All right, so some of the comments here, chicken burgers. Not exactly unique to us, but it riles up the Yanks.
You can't call it a burger if it's not made out of beef. Yeah.
And then the golden gay time.
Oh, really? That came up.
Probably just because it's called gay time.
The gay time, yeah. But it's also, it's a unique, it's an ice cream for those, it's on a stick.
Is it covered in cashews or peanuts or something?
It's covered in nuts.
Yeah.
I think it's probably peanuts or almonds or something.
Yeah.
But it's a sort of butterscotch and mild chocolate. And yeah, so it's a weird one because I've never had anything like it anywhere else. Whereas your standard sort of ice cream, the sort of trumpet type things with ice cream and chocolate and nuts and things you can buy anywhere. And other sort of icy pole things you can buy anywhere, but golden gay times. Yeah.
I've never had one.
Really?
No, never had one.
You either love them or hate them.
Yeah, I'll have to try one. The kids had a box of them the other day in the fridge. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about just the carameliness and just nuts by itself. I was just like, there's no chocolate.
They're pretty
I'm not
good.
into it. It's funny. One of the people here replied, I remember my friend from Germany calling her mum to tell her she'd had a gay time. All right. What's this one?
Excuse
me. I
me.
live in England now, but grew up in Australia. I'd always avoid walking through long grass in case of snakes. Yep. So there you go. There's that one. Whereas telling that to English people made them confused.
Yeah.
I think they've only got like one venomous snake. It's an adder or
very
something,
venomous.
Or a viper, something small.
Yeah.
Naming spiders that take up residence in your house. That's true. What happened the other day, we had like a daddy longlegs, a massive one above the shower.
Yeah.
And the kids were in there and they're like, that's Greg. That's Greg. Hi, Greg. I'm like, I hadn't even taught them to do that. But they just started, there's Greg. There's Greg.
That's a classic.
I'm like, he looks like a Greg, doesn't he?
Yeah.
A single slice of bread being sufficient for a bunning sausage.
Yeah. Well, and that the other one that comes to mind with that is a sandwich. For us, a sandwich is made out of 2 slices of bread, sliced bread.
Sliced bread, yeah.
Whereas in the US and
Europe,
Canada as well.
Europe as well.
It's a sandwich is basically anything inside any form of bread.
But it's usually larger kind of bread. Like you would think, they would call them Subway sandwiches from Subway,
yeah,
right?
which we would call a bread roll.
Yeah, exactly.
A lump of bread cut in half and have stuff thrown in it.
If it's not
they basically,
square or triangular.
It's almost like, and you use the chicken burger example, they would call that a chicken fillet sandwich.
Filet
sandwich.
They would say filet.
And you go, so a burger is not a beef sandwich? No.
In my mind, the burger is the bread. The fact that it's usually bread with the meat inside that's been barbecued or something with cheese and stuff in there, and lettuce and everything. But it's like it's kind of a shape thing I have in my head.
Pete's doing this
More
visual
I'm holding my
thing.
hands out like you're holding a burger, right?
Yeah.
I don't have it must have this one ingredient. Like you could have a fish burger, a veggie burger, a chicken burger.
The thing is, though, that hamburger is that, the minced meat cooked on a grill.
Yeah.
That's a hamburger, and then we just throw all the other stuff around it. So I understand that reluctance to call anything else a burger.
It's funny, these products, like there's a whole bunch of people mentioning things like Milo or Vegemite. Yeah. So those are big ones. But I guess, any country has that sort of thing where it's like unique foods where you would try it and be like, ooh, this is strange.
Yeah, or just, why would you do that?
Mm-hmm. What's this one? When I was 11 years old and had recently moved from New Zealand to Australia, I remember telling my parents in the evening about my commute home from school that day. I think this bird must have been drunk because it was flying erratically and really low and collided with the back of my head 3 times whilst I was cycling across the park.
Magpie. Or magpie lark.
I then had swooping magpies explain to me, that's probably the fact that I'd be more afraid of magpies than snakes, I think. Especially like just taking out my eyes or something. Well,
magpies are just everywhere.
Yeah, and they'll just fuck you up out
Certainly
of nowhere.
In Southeast
the whole
Australia.
thing, you can't, they don't attack you when you're looking at you. When you're looking at them, they come from behind usually and just suddenly bang or just peck, and that would freak me out a lot more than a snake, I think. All right. Apparently saying soz is uniquely Australian.
Soz? Yeah, well, we do all sorts of things
That's
like
just
that.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, soz, as in to Moz. Yeah. Which, funnily, nobody ever says to Moz, T-O-M-O-Z,
right.
But it's written as short for, it's a contraction of tomorrow.
It's like BRB. No one says BRB.
I know, but we say soz.
Or lol.
Or lol, yeah. But lol is okay because...
Ruffle.
Yeah.
Chicken salt is another one here.
Chicken
and the rest
salt.
of the world is missing out. The next person, preach. So if you go to fish and chip shops, get chicken salt.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is. There's no chicken in it.
It's
Is it MSG?
Salt. Yeah, well, I'm sure there is MSG. Well, there used to be.
Yeah.
Because it's chicken stock.
Yeah, okay.
Ground chicken stock with salt.
Oh, man, it's so good. Especially on chips. It's one of those funny things, isn't it? You'll get chicken salt. It's this yellowy kind of salt thing that you'll get, and it's always really good on chips. It's a bit weird if you have it on the other stuff. Like if you have it on fish.
Yeah, it's only for chips.
The chips is really good. Being barefoot outside of the house. That's probably, again, these are sort of culture shock things that people wouldn't get. It is funny how that one comes up quite a bit. And for me, it's like, it's usually associated with being close to the beach and going. Yeah. If I'm going to the beach or I'm at the beach and I'm in bare feet, I might then go to the shops and just not bother putting my shoes and socks on because I've got sandy feet. And then I'm going to walk around, and just be like, fuck it. I'll clean my feet when I get home and have a shower. But if I was in the middle of nowhere, like in the sticks or something in the outback, I don't think I'd be running around in bare feet just randomly.
Yeah, but it's not just the running around in bare feet. It's the beach culture too. Is that we're so used to it living in beach communities that I don't think I've ever been anywhere else in the world and seen people walking around a supermarket in bare feet. But you see it all the time.
So many people must come here and be like, God damn, these homeless people are really well dressed.
Well, they're very casual.
Yeah. It's funny. The next one is like shaking your shoes out before you put them on.
Yeah. Bang the shoes together.
There was a video I saw of some guy doing it on a mining site in Queensland. And he's just like, get a load of these cunts. And he's shaking his shoe out and 6 cane toads fell out. And he's like, 6 cunts in my fucking shoe. And all these people in the background are just pissing themselves.
But mostly it's for spiders and scorpions. But
don't leave them outside.
Yeah.
If I was living in those places, I would not be leaving my shoes outside, and let alone on their side for something to get in.
But if you're camping... You don't want to have your smelly old wet boots in your tent, so you leave them outside. But then
hang them from a tree. I don't know.
Well, spiders can get up trees, as can scorpions. But yeah, it's just classic. I still do it when my shoes are inside. Mm-hmm. You just bang them together, tip them outside.
The other thing here, tradies making top dollar. As much as doctors, engineers, and lawyers.
Yeah, which isn't actually true. But
I mean, some
that's a myth.
But
that's a myth.
It depends. It probably depends on the person.
There'd be people running. There would be people running plumbing companies. Employing other plumbers. As an example, that might make as much as a lawyer or a doctor, but
Yep.
Your average plumber or electrician or carpenter or brickie or whatever is not going to be earning that sort of money. But I think they do earn more money comparatively than the same jobs in a lot of other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. I think that's probably enough, Dad.
yeah.
What's the other one? Probably drop bears, right?
Oh, yeah.
The whole joke with that we have with
yeah.
drop bears, and it's like this, we all learn it, you know, growing up, you hear about drop bears, and then you get that Australians will make this joke that there are these carnivorous koalas that live in the forest, and they'll drop out of a tree and eat you.
Yeah.
And that we all then have this kind of like agreed upon prank that we'll talk about them to foreigners as if it's a real thing. And it's usually you just do it half-heartedly. Sometimes you do it seriously, but then usually the gag's over pretty quickly.
I don't know where it came from,
Yeah.
but I first heard it when I was a child, not a young child, like, you know, teenager, early teenager. And I reckon it probably came out around that, you know, 1960s. And I think from me, certainly I first heard it from people who were in the Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it came from that sort of scouting, camping thing of, you know, telling stories to the new scouts when you go out camping and trying to frighten them and stuff. So I think it came from that. And then it just became a general Australian thing that everybody knows about drop bears.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing my master's degree and we were doing the field work, capturing goannas and like...
Far more dangerous than koalas.
Oh, man, yeah. But we had this American guy with us and we were joking around about them and he believed us. And I remember being like, you're a fucking biologist from the US. Surely you would have heard about these animals.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Really? Really? Like, are you serious, dude?
Well, the irony is, in North America, they have them.
Yeah, exactly. They got
black bears that climb trees.
All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this one, guys. If you've got any others, you'll have to let us know. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
See ya.